there's a very strange thing happening in millions of homes every single night. You buy your dog their own bed. It's soft. It's cozy. It might even cost more than the pillow you're sleeping on. You set it up in the corner, maybe add a little blanket, maybe toss in their favorite toy. The whole thing has a real boutique pet hotel vibe. And then, at 2 inches the morning, your dog looks at that bed like it was a terrible financial decision, walks right past it, jumps onto your bed, spins in exactly 14 circles to find the perfect position, and then flops down across the mattress like they co-signed the mortgage. Now they're taking up 80% of the bed, and you're left balancing on a strip of mattress about the width of a tortilla. Most people look at this and think, they're probably cold. Maybe it's just a habit. They're just clingy. Sounds reasonable, but that's not the full story. Because if your dog only wanted warmth, they have options. The couch, a sunny patch on the floor, a blanket, that suspiciously attractive pile of laundry you were definitely going to fold earlier. And if all they wanted was comfort, they wouldn't need to wedge themselves specifically against your legs and then occasionally kick you in the middle of the night like they're reminding you this is a shared bed, but mostly theirs. The truth is, when your dog chooses to sleep next to you, it's not just a cute habit. It's a deeply meaningful behavior. Underneath that furry little bed thief pressed against your ribs at 3 a.m. is a whole story involving attachment, neuroscience, evolution, and a level of trust that honestly some human relationships never quite reach. To understand it, we have to start with one simple fact. Sleep is the most vulnerable state an animal can be in. For animals, sleep isn't just rest. It's exposure. It's the one time they're not fully alert, not fully ready to react, not fully in control of their surroundings. In the wild, that's dangerous. Not when they're running, not when they're eating, but when they're asleep. So when a dog chooses to sleep next to someone, they are making a very clear statement with their behavior. When I'm at my most defenseless, I trust this person. That's the real headline. Because your dog could sleep somewhere quieter, somewhere more tucked away, somewhere without a human rolling over, stealing the blanket, or accidentally elbowing them in the face. But instead, they choose you. Because to your dog, you're not just a person who fills the food bowl. You are a mobile, safe place. That sounds ridiculous, but it's true. You're basically an emotional charging station that walks around the house, opens the fridge, and knows exactly where the good belly rub spot is. Dogs form powerful attachment bonds with humans, not just the kind of bond that says, this person is useful, but the kind that says, when I'm near this person, my nervous system settles down. That's why so many dogs don't just like being in the same room as their people. They also want physical contact while they sleep, leaning against your leg, resting a paw on your arm, pressing their back against yours, somehow turning themselves into a warm, breathing puddle of fur between you and the edge of the bed. That physical closeness matters. For dogs, touch is one of the clearest ways to confirm that everything is okay, that their person is still there, that the world still feels safe. And you can see the contrast during the day. A lot of dogs act very independent when the sun's up. They wander around the house like they have a packed schedule. They patrol the windows. They inspect the yard. They bark at a leaf blowing across the driveway like they're handling an active security threat. But at night, a lot of those same dogs go right back to, I need to be near my person. That's not weakness, that's attachment. And this goes deeper than psychology. It also involves chemistry. When humans and dogs interact in positive, affectionate ways, eye contact, petting, calm, physical closeness, both bodies can release chemicals linked to bonding and relaxation. In plain English, the stuff that helps both of you feel connected and safe. That's part of why petting your dog after a long day can calm you down so fast. You're not imagining it. Your body is responding to a trusted presence. Now picture that not for 10 minutes, but for hours. You, exhausted at the end of the day, running on about 6% battery. Your dog, curled up by your feet, breathing slowly, warm, familiar, real. Your brain doesn't just register. There's a dog here. It registers. There is a safe, known presence beside me. And sometimes that feeling of safety matters more than the inconvenience. That's why so many people will say their dog hogs the bed, snores, twitches, steals the blanket, and somehow sleeps sideways like a tiny drunk uncle at Thanksgiving. And yet, on the nights the dog isn't there, something feels off. The room feels too quiet, too empty. Sleep feels less settled. Logically, that seems weird. Neurologically, it makes perfect sense. Because humans didn't evolve to sleep alone in perfectly silent bedrooms with blackout curtains and lavender spray and a white noise machine named Trevor. For most of human history, people slept near other people, in groups, in families, in shared spaces, with movement, breathing, warmth, and the quiet reassurance that someone else was nearby. So, when your dog sleeps next to you, they may not be ruining your sleep as much as restoring something ancient about it. They're bringing back the feeling of sleeping with the group. And dogs understand group living extremely well. Their ancestors survived by staying close to one another for safety, coordination, warmth, and protection. Over thousands of years living with humans, dogs didn't lose that instinct. They just transferred it. The pack changed. Now the pack is your household. You're the pack, which means sleeping close to you isn't strange at all. It may be one of the most natural social behaviors your dog has. And here's something even more interesting. Not every dog sleeps next to you in the same way, and the position they choose can say a lot. If your dog curls up tightly against your back, they may be looking for security and steady contact. If they sleep at the foot of the bed, facing outward, they may be doing that half snuggle, half night watch thing dogs love to do. If they sleep sideways across the entire bed like they pay property taxes, that may simply mean they feel extremely confident and extremely at home. And if they always try to keep at least one point of contact with you, a paw, a tail, their back, their butt, literally anything, that's often their way of checking that you're still there. Like emotional Wi-Fi. Not a full cuddle, just enough signal to confirm the connection is still strong. Some people see that and say, wow, your dog is really attached. And yes, but that word can get misunderstood. Because in most cases, this isn't unhealthy dependency. It's trust built through repetition. You fed them when they were hungry. You took them outside when they needed to go. You comforted them during thunderstorms. You used that special voice with them that you do not use with any other living being. You took them to the vet even though they acted betrayed for 6 business days afterward. All those little moments add up in your dog's mind to one simple conclusion. This person is safe. And because dogs don't write journal entries, send voice memos, or sit you down for a serious talk at 9:30 p.m., they communicate through behavior. One of the clearest things they can say with behavior is this: I want to sleep next to you. Now, obviously, this isn't always a magical, cinematic experience. Dogs snore. Dogs dream kick. Dogs do that weird twitchy running thing in their sleep. Dogs can rotate 180 degrees at 4 a.m. and somehow plant their butt directly in your face with astonishing confidence. And yet, a lot of people still love it. Because there is something profoundly moving about being chosen as the safest sleeping place by a creature from an entirely different species. In a world full of unread emails, unpaid bills, deadlines, stress, and whatever fresh nonsense the day threw at you, there is something incredibly grounding about a dog looking at the whole house, considering all their options, and deciding, yeah, I'm sleeping here, next to this person. That's a quiet kind of love, but it's real. And here's the part that matters most. If your dog has slept next to you for months or years, and then suddenly stops, don't ignore it. Sometimes the reason is simple. A new pet, a new partner, a schedule change, a move, a different room setup. Dogs are incredibly sensitive to changes in their environment. And something that feels minor to you can feel huge to them. But sometimes, a sudden change in sleeping location can be a sign that something is wrong. Pain, joint stiffness, trouble jumping onto the bed, stress, discomfort, and in older dogs, changes in sleep habits can sometimes show up alongside cognitive decline or other age-related issues. In other words, sleeping next to you is communication, and stopping that behavior can be communication too. Dogs don't have words. Behavior is their language. So if a nightly ritual changes suddenly, pay attention. You don't have to panic, but you should notice. So the next time you wake up at 3:17 inches the morning, one leg numb, your blanket gone, your spine bent like a pretzel, and somewhere between 12 and 80 pounds of dog pressed firmly against you like a furry emotional paperweight. Remember this. Your dog is not just sleeping. Your dog is choosing. Not the pet bed, not the couch, not the warm spot on the floor. And in the language of dogs, that is a big message. With you, I feel safe. Honestly, in a world with a lot of complicated relationships, being trusted like that by a dog is kind of an honor. Sure, they may eat your socks. Sure, they may leave you with 4 inches of mattress. Sure, they may act like they personally own the bed you paid for. But they're not sleeping next to you just because it's soft. They're sleeping next to you because in their world, you are home. So tell me in the comments, where does your dog sleep on your bed, in their own bed, or directly across your spine like a furry weighted blanket with no respect for personal space? And if this video gave you a whole new way to look at your dog, subscribe because we've got more videos coming on the hidden psychology behind the things dogs do every day. See you in the next one.